සුචිසාරදේශං සන්දේරකං සොන්න තනුපලාසං සංලාපදේසින් පනමේ විසාසං නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. Homage to the Exalted One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Sīle patiṭṭhāya naro sapañño cittaṃ paññaṃ ca bhāvayam ātāpi nipako bhikkhu so imaṃ vijaṭaye-jatanti. The wise person, grounded in virtue, practicing mind and wisdom, developing his mind, he is ready to overcome suffering completely. Good morning for everyone. Venerable sirs, nuns, friends in the Dhamma. We have come to the end of the session, meditation retreat, which is conducted by the Bhavana Society, West Virginia. In this session, I hope to conclude everything that we discussed last few days. Especially here we discussed how to manage our anger, how to overcome anger. Anger is one of the main causes that disturbs our peace of mind. Reducing anger, we can overcome suffering, and also we can spend a very spiritual, happy life. That is why Buddhism always encourages us to overcome anger in order to achieve the real happiness. Happiness is the main purpose of everyone. We do everything in our life from morning to night, from birth to death, in four forces for our happiness. But unfortunately, we come to the end of our life without satisfaction. In this situation, Buddhism explains the correct path how we achieve the real happiness. By reducing negative thoughts from our mind, we gradually cultivate inner qualities. As a result of this path, we can achieve the real happiness in this life itself. The most important thing, when we practice Dhamma, we are happy at this moment. When we do some activities in our day-to-day life, we mostly think that happiness comes after we fulfill something. That is why we are so hurried to do something. Even you are in a retreat, you are very hurried to finish it and go back home. You are hurried to do it. When you come to the end of the session, some of them are very hurried to leave this place. Actually, that is not the real path. If we practice the real Dhamma, our most important time in our life is that this present moment. It means we are enjoying by doing something at this moment. It doesn't mean that we don't plan something for our future. We have a long time plannings in our life, but we mostly live in the present moment. By practicing Dhamma, it means we enjoy the present moment. That's the nature of the Dhamma. when we are going to reduce our anger, we mostly focus on anger, but when we see the Buddha's message, we should reduce not only anger, but there are several negative thoughts which arise in our minds, such as lust, craving, jealousy, ignorance. There are several defilements that arise in our mind. We have to overcome everything. Reducing or overcoming anger is not the final goal in Buddhism. Our final goal is to overcome completely ignorance or delusion. That is the main purpose of Buddhist doctrines. Reducing delusion is like the put off the main switch of our house. Anger is one of the devices. When we reduce ignorance or delusion, other defilements automatically go down. Therefore, not only anger we reduce, but we have to reduce all the defilements from our mind. For that, we have to overcome ignorance or delusion. For that, first of all, we should have clear vision, right understanding. That is why the Supreme Buddha says, Samma Ditti Purejavan. Right understanding is the forerunner. Vision is first, then mission. Vision without mission is useless. Mission without vision is blind. Vision without mission is useless. Mission without vision is blind. Especially, Buddhism encourages us to cultivate our vision about our path. When we go to a place, never you have gone yet. First of all, you should know the place where you are going to. The address is very important. Without knowing address, you never start your journey, your trip. First of all, you should know the address. That is very important. Buddhist path also like that. Buddha encourages us to achieve the correct vision. That is why we start our spiritual journey with right understanding, samadhi. For that, the discourse of 𝒮𝓾 explains, 𝒮𝓾 ℒ𝒶𝓃 ධජයන සම්පන්නෝ. We should come to the vision without going to extremes. What are the extremes? If we think there is a world, that is an extreme. If we think there is not world, that is also an extreme. If we think that there is a world around us, that belongs to the Sasatavada, eternalism. If we think there is no world, outside world, that is also an extreme, which is nihilism, 𝒮𝓃. Every moment our body arises, our mind also arises. With the combination of body and mind, every moment we create the world. When we open our senses, we create the world at this moment. Therefore, we don't say that there is no world. There is a world. Not only our senses arise at the moment, but when the causes cease, immediately our senses, consciousnesses, everything ceases at the moment, arising and ceasing. If a person sees the arising of the world, he doesn't go to the extreme of nihilism or 𝒮𝓃. If he sees the cessation of the world, he doesn't go to this extreme of eternalism or sasata. These both extremes, eternalism and nihilism, should be overcome through one vision, which is the Patisampada, the dependent origination. Iti imasmin sati idam hoti, imasmin asati idam hoti. When this is, when this is not, this is not. This is the vision. As soon as we receive this vision through listening to Dhamma, associating with good friends, we find a path, which is the path Sila, Samadhi and Panya. One day, a deity came to the Buddha and asked, Bhante, there are many problems in this world. People are tangled inside and outside. How do we overcome these tangles? Buddha says, Sile patittaya narosapanyo chittam panyanja bhavyam. A wise person grounded on sila or virtue, developing mind and wisdom, overcomes the suffering. Here Buddha explains the three disciplines, virtue, samatha and concentration, and panya wisdom. These are the steps of our spiritual path. First of all, we should practice our discipline in speech and behavior. Next, we have to practice samatha bhavana or tranquil meditation, and also based on concentration, we reflect on impermanence. Before we come to this vision, we practice some primary techniques in order to reduce some defilements from our mind. Those things were discussed last few days. What they are? Very first one is being grateful. Gratitude is one of the main qualities. When we are grateful to the world, we are ready to forgive others. Even though people have some mistakes, we don't get angry with them, since we have these facilities because of many people in this world. When we think it, we are patient. And also, we practice generosity. We are ready to share something with others. Dhamma explains, he who has a generous heart gains a lot of happiness. In Pali it says, Piti mudaharam bildati data. He who has a generous heart gains a lot of happiness. This is very important. We practice generosity in three ways. Amisadana, Abhedana, Dhammadana. Amisadana means giving material things, such as food, so on. We share something with others when we associate other people. And Abhedana, we give fearlessness. We save others' lives. That is Abhedana. We protect others' lives. And also third one, Dhammadana. We share our Dhamma understanding with others. That is the highest gift. That is why Buddhism says, Sabbadhanam, Dhammadanam, Jinati. Gift of Dhamma excels all other gifts. Dhamma understanding. We share it with others. That is also a generosity. When we practice generosity honestly, righteously, and correctly, we will have a very special benefit, result. What is that? We made good association, good friends. good message to our liberation. If we are curious, if we are finding the correct path, especially in the current society, because of new technology, definitely we should find the correct path, the correct mission and vision and correct message. What is the message? How we overcome suffering completely? And also here we practice Metta Bhavana too. Not only Metta Bhavana, we practice this four sublime states. Metta, loving kindness, Karuna, compassion, Mudita, sympathetic joy, and Upekkha, equanimity. If we want to experience the Brahma realm experience, Buddha invites us to practice these four sublime states. Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekkha. Brahmas who are in the Brahma realm, they are dwelling with these four things, four sublime states. If we can cultivate these positive thoughts in our minds, we can make a Brahma world in this immediate life. Physically we are in the human realm, but mentally we are in the Brahma realm as the practicing of four sublime states for Brahma Vihara. Here especially we practice Metta Bhavana, loving kindness meditation. Last days we discussed about it and also we practice it. Mettanisansa Sutta explains the result of practicing Metta Bhavana. Sukham Supati, he who practices loving kindness meditation wakes up happily. And also Sukham Patibujjati, he wakes up happily and also Sukham Patibujjati. Sukham Supati, he who practices loving kindness meditation sleeps well happily and also he wakes up happily. Napakam supinam pasati, he doesn't see dangerous dreams. Manusanam priyohoti, he is pleased to human beings. Amanusanam priyohoti, not only he is pleased to human beings, but he is pleased to non-humans too. And also, Mukhavano Vipasidati, his appearance is very beautiful. And also, Devata Rakhanti, he is protected by the Devas, deities, celestial beings. And also, his mind quickly gains concentration. His mind gradually gains concentration. And also he can come to his life of the end without fear, without doubt. And also if he doesn't attain enlightenment in this life itself, he will be reborn in the Brahma realm. These are the results of practicing Metta Bhavana. We live happily as the result of practicing Metta Bhavana. That is why the Dhammagaru explains Susukamata Jivama Verinesu Averino Verinesu Manusyesu Viharama Averino. Let's live happily without anger among the people who are angry. And also Susukamata Jivama Aturesu Anaturam Aturesu Manusyesu Viharama Anaturam. Let's live happily without mental illnesses among the people who are mentally ill. Even though people are physically healthy, most of people in this society mentally unhealthy. There are some problems among them. He who practices Metta Bhavana lives happily without mental disorders. And also, as a result of practicing Metta Bhavana in the highest level, as soon as we meet a person, we remember a person, we think that person like my son or daughter, only son or daughter. Until we come to this level, we are not ready to enter the spiritual path. Make sure that we have this attitude. For that, we have to practice Metta Bhavana, contemplating on thus, may all beings be well, happy and peaceful again and again, for inner peace. As a result of practicing this path, we can see the results in this life itself. We can see the qualities of the Dhamma, 𝒮𝓃 ℒ𝒶𝓃. These were results immediately effective. When we practice Dhamma, we can see the results in this life itself. We mostly think that when we practice Dhamma, we will receive the results end of this life or next life. Actually, that is not true. As soon as we enter the Dhamma, when we come to practice Dhamma, we immediately see the results. For an example, when we practice 5 precepts, we can see the results. When we practice generosity, our mind is so pure and calm. When we practice 5 precepts, we can see the results. When we contemplate on thus, may all beings be well, happy and peaceful, we can see the peace of our mind. And also especially when we come to the practice of mindfulness, we can see the results in the highest level. But before that, we should have correct vision. What is the correct vision? Without going to extremes as eternalism or nihilism, we understand the world. We understand the world arises every moment according to our senses. As soon as we open our eyes, we make the world, we create the world. That world arises at the moment, that immediately ceases at the moment as the result of the cessation of conditions. Here we find a very special explanation in Buddhist doctrines. Ahutva sambudham hutva nabhavisati. Not being occurred comes to occurrence. Being occurred will not go to occurrence. Not being occurred comes to occurrence. Being occurred in the present moment will not go to occurrence in the future. Everything. What are the everything? Our internal senses, external objects, 6 senses, mentality and corporeality, 5 aggregates, 18 elements, everything. According to our present mental condition, we create the world. The present mental condition of world that we create arises at the moment. That arises at the moment. That ceases at the moment. The previous experience influences the present experience. The present experience will influence the next experience. But the previous experience didn't come to the present as it is. The present experience will not go to future permanently. This is the nature of our life. Here we understand the real meaning of anicca or impermanence uttered by the Blessed One. When we hear anicca or impermanence, we immediately say that whatever it changes, That is impermanence. Actually, that is not the real meaning of impermanence in Buddhism. The real meaning of impermanence is that not being occurred comes to occurrence. Being occurred will not go to occurrence. Such as this sound. This sound didn't come to the present from the past. This sound will not go to future from the present. This arises at the moment. This ceases at the moment. Because of several causes, facts, reasons. Because of my fingers, because of my effort, because of my ears, because of my contact, consciousness. Because of these several reasons and causes, this experience arises at the moment. And also it immediately ceases at the moment. Our entire world. What is our world? Our world is that 6 internal senses such as eye, ear, nose, so on. There are 6 internal senses. And six external objects. Forms, sounds, smell, so on. Everything arises at the moment. Then you may think that, Bhante, how do you say it? Before we came here, this hall was here. Even though we will leave, this hall will remain. Is it true? Is it true actually for the conventional truth? According to conventional truth, it is okay. Our karmic energy, karmic force depends on the conventional truth. We create karmic energy, mental formations. Apunyadi sankara, demeritorious mental formations. Punyadi sankara, meritorious mental formations. And also Anindami sankara, invertible mental formations based on this conventional truth. But still we are in the samsaric circle because of ignorance. What is the ignorance? We think that before we experience the world, there was a world. After we receive the experience, the world remains. That is true according to the conventional truth. Based on that truth, we can create some good karma and we can receive good results and we can receive a blissful life hereafter. But still we are in the samsaric circle. Because of ignorance, we are not away from decay, sickness, death, sorrow, lamentation. If you want to overcome the samsaric circle completely, reducing anger, overcoming decay, sickness, death and sorrow, we have to overcome this misunderstanding. What is the reality? The reality that this experience, like when we go to a mirror, as soon as we come to the mirror, we can see the reflection of our body. Was that reflection there before you went there? No. As soon as you go to the mirror, your reflection appears there. As soon as you move away from the mirror, the reflection in the mirror immediately disappears. Our all experiences are also like that. This is the ultimate truth. Having this understanding, without going to experience, having this understanding, we find the path, the Noble Eightfold Path. In short, 3 disciplines virtue, tranquility or concentration, and wisdom. As soon as we come to this understanding, we start our spiritual journey based on mindfulness. Especially, we start our spiritual journey based on the sign of mindfulness satinimitta. We keep our attention around the nose of our lip in the present moment. Now, we have known the address or destination. What is that? Now our spiritual dream is that not going to extremes as eternalism or nihilism. Our final goal is to overcome the world completely. Wherever our mind depends in the external world or persons, it means we consist with suffering. Our final goal is to release from the entire world, not only the external physical world, but our spiritual goal is to overcome even our mind and mental formations too. We don't take anything as me, as mine. We don't take anything as permanent, as satisfaction, as selflessness. Having this understanding, we practice sila or virtue, moral conduct, discipline in our speech and behavior. Samma vaca, samma kammanta, samma ajiva. Right speech, right action, and right livelihood. When we practice these three things, we don't think there is an outside world. We know very well the material world has already ceased when we understand something. When we contact something, we find the material world which consists with four fundamental elements: solidity, fluidity, heat and motion. In the vipaka level, in the result level, when we contact something through our senses, we find something as material things, but that experience is very instant. Our mind is so fast. When we understand something, we understand everything through our mind consciousness. When we recognize something through our mind consciousness, the very first experience based on the material world, which consists with four fundamental elements, have already ceased. This is our destination. Already we have kept it in our GPA, our navigator, GPS. You know, when we drive to somewhere, we are imagining the place which is the destination again and again. When you are coming here, you are thinking meditation center. Even though you are on the way, you are thinking, you are imagining the place you are going to. Like that, when we practice generosity, when we practice metta bhavana, when we practice sila or virtue, we do everything imagine our final destination. What is the final destination? And not depending on the material world, since we know very well. We experience, we understand every moment an empty world. 𝒮𝓃 ℒ𝒶𝓃𝓀𝒶. We see the world as emptiness. But whenever we are ignorant, we think there is a world. But when we listen to Dhamma, again and again we come to this understanding. We fulfill this understanding in 3 levels. 𝒮𝓃 the wisdom of hearing, 𝒮𝑇𝒾 the wisdom of thinking, and Bhavana the wisdom of meditation. The very first one, 𝒮𝓃, we should listen to this message very carefully, mindfully. Whenever we listen to this message, if we are confident in this message, what the Blessed One explained, then we fulfill 𝒮𝓃, the wisdom of hearing. Not only we should listen to this message, but we should confident in this message. Actually, this is not the Buddha's message. Even though Buddha explains this message, this is the eternal truth. The Sublime One says very clearly, whether a Buddha appears or not in this world, this truth is forever. And having this understanding through listening to Dhamma, we practice virtue or moral conduct, discipline in our speech and behavior. When we speak something verbally, when we do something physically, and also we do a job for our livelihood, we do all activities mindfully, reflecting on our final goal. Imagine our final goal. Therefore, we don't disturb our final goal doing anything. Even for our job, even for feeding our children, we don't do any wrong thing in our life. Since we know very well, my real liberation depends on going to the final destination. Therefore, when we do our day-to-day activities, we don't disturb our final goal. And also we come to Samma Vayama, Samma Sati, and Samma Samadhi, right effort, right mindfulness, and Samma Samadhi, right concentration. Always we have effort to overcome negativities, and we have an effort to cultivate good deeds in our life. And also we are mindful. Especially here, we practice very peaceful meditation technique, which is Ānāpānasati Bhavana, mindful breathing. You know, this is the most peaceful meditation technique in Buddhism. The meditation object is within us from our birth to death. We don't need to go far away finding the meditation objects. Actually, we are given a meditation technique, the meditation object, by our mom when we born in this world. Whenever you practice mindfulness meditation, be sure that you pay your gratitude to your mom and your dad as well. Why is that? Whenever you practice mindfulness in breathing, at that moment you are happy. Your parents' goal was that make you happy, making you happy. Whenever you practice mindful breathing, Anapanasati Bhavana, you think that I am paying my gratitude for my parents because you are so happy at that moment since negative thoughts don't come to your mind at that moment. Here, keeping our attention in the present moment, we breathe in and out mindfully. As the result of practicing mindful breathing, we are able to cultivate 7 enlightenment factors. Sati Sambojjhanga, the enlightenment factor of mindfulness; Dhammavicaya Sambojjhanga, the enlightenment factor of keen investigation; Virya Sambojjhanga, the enlightenment factor of energy; Pita Sambojjhanga, rapture; Passaddhi Sambojjhanga, tranquility; Samadhi Sambojjhanga, concentration; and finally, Upekkha Sambojjhanga, equanimity. When we see the arising and ceasing of the world based on mindfulness, we come to equanimity. We dwell equanimously. When we come to this level, we have completely control our mind. The Dhamma explains the results in this level. What is the result? If a person wants to dwell perceiving the repulsive in the unrepulsive, he can live like that. If a person wants to dwell perceiving unrepulsive in the repulsive, he can do like that. He can live like that. If a person wants to dwell equanimously, avoiding the repulsive and unrepulsive, he can dwell equanimously. You can see the results here. Without changing anything in the external world, just changing our perception, we can associate the world as we like. What else we need? The entire world, from morning to night, from birth to death, what do? They do the thing which is, they change the external world for their happiness. When we come to the practice of the Dhamma, without changing the material world, just changing our perception, we can associate the world as we like. Especially in this level, we come to equanimity. For that, from the beginning to end, gradually, we have to practice all the qualities. We have no shortcuts. The message is like the ocean. The message has an order. Dhamma is like the ocean. The ocean, the sea, it deepens gradually from the beach to the deeper water. Our practice is like that. Firstly, we should be grateful and generous. Then we find good association. Through the good association, we listen to the sublime message. and we understand the path, and especially we understand the destination. Finally, we gradually reach our spiritual destination. What is the destination? 𝒮𝓃 ℒ𝒶𝓃𝓾𝓀𝒶 𝒮𝓃ℾ wherever mentality and corporeality completely cease without remaining anything, that is the place, the real liberation, emancipation, freedom. What is that? As soon as we see something, we hear something, we smell something, if we know that at this moment, when I understand it, the material world has already ceased, and also the mind consciousness that I understand the material world, that is also arising and ceasing at the moment. As a result of this understanding, our mind doesn't depend on anything in the external world based on the material world. And also our mind doesn't depend on even our mind and mental formations too. We see only thing which happens in the world arising and ceasing of mentality and corporeality, nama and rupa, or mind and matter, or with details, bio aggregates, rupa, form, Vedana, sensations, sanya, perception, sankhara, mental formations, and vijnana, consciousness. Every moment, our entire life is that these five things that arises at the moment, they immediately cease at the moment. Then our mind doesn't depend on anything in this world. It means our mind has no space for decay or aging, sickness, death, sorrow, lamentation. Even though we have this understanding, gradually we go to old age, sickness and death, but that is just the nature. But we have no suffering of aging, suffering of death, suffering of sickness. That is the difference. Even Arhantas become old age, sickness and death physically, but mentally they have no suffering. They see this body like something which are in the outside world, such as tree or something. Dear friends in Dhamma, this should be our final destination. Having this understanding about our spiritual destination, gradually we have to practice especially samatha and vipassana. Buddha says, as a wise person, the highest qualities that we practice are samatha vipassana. Our spiritual success, spiritual development completely depends on the duration of practicing samatha bhavana and vipassana bhavana. Please increase the duration of practicing your concentration and insight meditation. And also, as a wise person, there are something which should be overcome. 𝐴𝑣ජ්ජා ℒ𝒶𝓃 ignorance and clinging to the world. We should overcome ignorance and clinging to the world. What is the ignorance? Ignorance means we think that there is a world or there is no world. Both are ignorance. And also we think there is a world at this moment, even though we close our organs, our senses, there is a world outside. That is the nature of ignorance and bhavatanha, clinging to the world. It means we are ready to come back to the world. But if we know completely the world arises and ceases at the moment, and also our understanding, if we have this understanding completely at this moment, based on mindfulness and mindful meditation, we are not ready to come back to the world since every moment we see the impermanence in our lives. For that, with this understanding, we have to develop mindfulness again and again based on samatha and vipassana. Okay, dear friends in the Dhamma, now we are going to practice Anapanasati Bhavana, which directly helps us to overcome ignorance completely. Okay, in Buddhism, Anapanasati Bhavana, mindful breathing is highly appreciated. With this clear understanding, if we practice breathing meditation, fourfold mindfulnesses gradually develop. As a result of cultivating fourfold mindfulnesses, we are able to develop 7 enlightenment factors, Sattva-Bojjhanga. As a result of practicing 7 enlightenment factors, we are able to achieve Vidya Vimukti, knowledge and liberation. Okay, friends in the Dhamma, brothers, nuns, please get ready for our sitting meditation based on Anapanasati. Relax your body, please. Please have a deep breath in for a few seconds. Breathe out slowly. Again, have a deep breath in for a few seconds. Breathe out slowly. Okay, please be aware of your body posture that you are sitting here. From your head to legs and from your legs to head. Please keep your attention around the nose to upper lip in the present moment based on mindfulness. Now you feel that breathing in and out. Keeping your attention around the nose to upper lip, please be aware of your breathing in and out. Breathing in, breathing out. This behavior of you are very natural, breathe in and out. Breathe in, breathe in out. Breathe in, breathe in out. I see that my mind gradually gains concentration. It becomes peaceful and calm. Breathe in, breathe in out. With this concentrated mind, I see the world as it is. Every moment, my body changes, my senses change, they arise at the moment. they immediately cease with the cessation of conditions. External world, the objects also arise at the moment according to my senses. They also release at the moment. They also cease at the moment. Arising, ceasing. Everything is impermanent. Everything arises and ceases. Impermanence. Impermanence. I think which happens to my entire life is that anicca or impermanence. My entire world, internal senses, external objects, mentality and corporeality, 5 aggregates, 18 elements, everything arises at the moment. They ceases at the moment. Arising, ceasing. With this understanding, my mind doesn't depend on anything in the world. My mind releases from the world. It means I have no delusion, no anger, no attachment when I see this reality. My mind is so peaceful and calm. I try to develop this peaceful mind as much as I can. This is the real success of my life. This is the real way how I can overcome suffering completely. This is the way how to overcome the samsaric circle. This is the path for the liberation. Sambe sankara anicchati yada paññāya passati atanimbindati dukkhe esa maggo visuddhya. All conditioned things are impermanent. He who sees this reality with wisdom overcomes suffering. This is the path to purity. Sambe sankara dukkati yada paññāya passati atanimbindati dukkhe esa maggo visuddhya. All conditioned things are dissatisfactory. He who sees this reality with wisdom overcomes suffering. This is the path to purity. Sabbe Dhamma Anantati Yada Paññāya Passati Atanindrindati Dukkhe Esa Maggo Visuddhya. All phenomena are selfless. He who sees this reality with wisdom overcomes suffering. This is the path to purity. Natti jnanam apaññassa paññā natti ajayato yam hi jnananca paññāca save nibbāna santike. There is no concentration without wisdom, no wisdom without concentration. One who has both concentration and wisdom is close to emancipation. Anicca vata saṅkhārā uppādevaya dhammino uppajjintvā nirujjanti te samvokha samosukho. All conditioned things are impermanent. Their nature is that arising and ceasing. What they arise, they immediately cease. He who realizes this message, that is the bliss of life. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, Venerable Sirs, friends in the Dhamma, we really appreciate your participation. What you learned in this retreat, you can continue it, you can practice it in your day-to-day life, and you can experience it and you can enjoy your life. You know, our life is so rare and valuable, very important. Not only that, the message of the Buddha is very rare and valuable. If we can dedicate our life for practicing Dhamma, actually that is the real result that we receive through this valuable life. For that, I wish you all the best. By the power of all these spiritual activities that you accrue for this retreat, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May all your educational and spiritual goals meet with success. Finally, may all of us attain the supreme bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkham pantāca niddukkha, bhayam pantāca nidbhaya, sokam pantāca nissokha, hontu sabbe pipāni.